Information has the power to unlock so many things for people in so many different situations. To actually deliver good, helpful, reliable information is really what drives me. When you type into Google, fruit that looks like an orange pufferfish, what happens in the next few milliseconds is the work of thousands of engineers writing hundreds of millions of lines of code over 22 years. Perfect search is a holy grail, and we will never stop on our quest. But recent breakthroughs in AI have helped us make some of the biggest improvements to search ever, to give you the name of the fruit kiwano when you need it, and much more. Now, we've all got those words that, try as you might, you just can't remember how to spell. Mine is bureaucracy. Is the EAU bit before the R or after the R? Where do the C's go? I can never remember. In fact, 1 in 10 search queries are misspelled. But it doesn't matter, because our Did You Mean feature is there to help. We've been building this spelling technology for 18 years. How? By looking for mistakes. We look at all the ways in which people misspell words in queries and text all over the web, and use that to predict what you actually mean. It's working pretty well, but by the end of this month, it's going to work even better. Not just a little bit better, a lot better. It's going to improve more in this one day than it has for the last 5 years combined. This is because of a new spelling algorithm that uses a deep neural net with 680 million parameters that can better model the weird edge cases in our mistakes, like when you need context to figure out that what looks like a correctly spelled word is actually a misspelling, or when your typo is just really, really, really far off. And it runs in under 3 milliseconds, which is faster than one flap of a hummingbird's wings. So we can now correct even more obscure things than before. It's an amazing example of using AI in practice. Beyond spelling, AI is improving results for all types of searches, broad searches and super specific searches. Specific searches are the harder ones. Sometimes it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. That one sentence that answers your question is buried deep in the page. It's pretty hard to return the right results in these situations because the information you're looking for isn't the main focus of the page. The relevance of that one section is sort of watered down by the lack of relevance of all the other words on the page. To understand what's happening here, you need to understand how search works. At the heart of search is an index, like the one at the back of a book. And our index contains not just web pages, but images, places, books, products, streets, buildings, videos, and more. We've recently made another breakthrough and are now able to not just index web pages, but individual passages from those pages. This helps us find that needle in a haystack because now the whole of that one passage is relevant. So, for example, let's say you search for something pretty niche, like, how can I determine if my house windows are UV glass? This is a pretty tricky query. We get lots of web pages that talk about UV glass and how you need a special film, but none of this really helps a layperson take action. Our new algorithm can zoom right into this one passage on a DIY forum that answers the question. Apparently, you can use the reflection of a flame to tell, and ignores the rest of the posts on the page that aren't quite as helpful. Now, you're not going to do this query necessarily, but we all look for very specific things sometimes. And starting next month, this technology will improve 7% of search queries across all languages. And that's just the beginning. So AI has helped us with specific searches. But what about broader searches? Here's one. When gyms were closed, a lot of people, including me, set up mini gyms in their homes. I started by doing a search like home exercise equipment, and I got a lot of websites that list all the equipment you might need. This is helpful, but wait, what if I have a small space or a small budget, or I just want to go for the best of the best. How do I figure out what's right for me? We think about these different aspects as subtopics of your broad question. We've now started to use AI to learn about these subtopics, which lets us capture the particular nuance of what each page is really about. We can then use this information in ranking to show a wider range of results for broad queries, so we can be more helpful to all the types of people who want to find something that's just right for their particular need. Sometimes the answer you need is in a web page, but other times it's in a video. Getting to the right information inside the video quickly can be a challenge, though. For example, I was looking for a quick fix for my leaking bathtub plug. It's one of those annoying ones with the push button. I found a video to help me that seemed promising, but the crucial tip I was looking for came at the 7-minute and 14-second mark. Some content creators mark these key moments in their videos, making it easier to jump straight to what's useful. But doing this is work for the creators. As you heard Prabhakar mention earlier, we've been experimenting with a new AI-driven approach to deeply understand videos, combining advanced computer vision and automatic speech recognition. This lets us tag these key moments and allows you to navigate them like chapters in a book. So, for example, if you're making smothered baked pork chops, you can jump right to the part of the video that shows how to thicken the sauce at the end. We just talked about how we're applying AI to make Google search even better. But AI can do even more. And we're particularly excited about the ways it can help journalism. Over the past couple of years, we've been working closely with journalists on a new tool to help with one of the most important parts of their work: uncovering information. For those of you watching who aren't journalists, just try and imagine how much time and effort it can take to sift through everything from court documents and email archives to stacks of images, and don't forget about those pesky handwritten notes in the margins. So we developed Pinpoint, an anchor product of Journalist Studio, a new suite of tools that harnesses the power of Google to help reporters. Pinpoint helps you rapidly go through hundreds of thousands of documents by automatically identifying and organizing the most frequently mentioned people, organizations, and locations. This lets journalists sift through their document trove much more quickly, whether you're looking for all references to a source or if a person and a place are ever mentioned together. AI surfaces new connections that we've heard from multiple newsrooms would be practically impossible to discover by hand. And reporters don't have to start from scratch. Pinpoint includes shared document collections from some of our key partners. Pinpoint will allow reporters to upload and analyze documents in 7 languages and is available for free now. Here's a look at how journalists are using Pinpoint to uncover new patterns and find the facts that matter.
The biggest challenge for reporting, honestly, is time, right? It's really difficult to say no when somebody wants you to look into something that you believe is important, but you just don't have the time to do it. My colleague Tricia Nadolny and I were asked to handle investigations relating to social services during the pandemic. Our focus really became largely about nursing homes during that time period. We requested records from all 50 states, and I uploaded them into Pinpoint. Pretty much immediately when you upload documents and that side populates with the list of names that are included or places that are included, you can kind of very quickly get an idea of what is in there. We compiled that into a database that we then analyzed and provided to the public. For the first time, some families were able to look up their loved one's assisted living facility and see whether there had been a case, because in some states and in some counties, facilities were not communicating directly with families in a way where they felt like they understood what was going on. In terms of investigative journalism, Our job is to expose wrongdoing, to shed light on something that's going wrong in the hopes that maybe it can go in a better direction.